Stream health. What does that mean? Ooh, okay. Don't know. Maybe. Oh well, whatever. It's fine. There is an orange thing. That's not a problem. Just sort of wait and see if anyone shows up. Doesn't matter if not. We'll just use it to record a video. Oh God. Come on now. Hello. Not that. God, it's hard writing on this keyboard. All right, no, okay, I've changed my mind. Let's not do that. We'll do something else. Hello, everyone. I've no idea who's in the chat. So I'm not really doing a proper stream today, but I just thought I'd mess about, you know. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. This is the Commodore 64. There's my data storage device, the only one that I have for the Commodore 64, which is a tape cassette. So that's fun. Anyway, I'm going to be showing you some bits, but I thought we'd just mess around for a little bit. We're going to do... Does anyone remember this? I think I just about do. 0.5 plus random, isn't it? Plus RMD, open bracket, 0.5, close bracket, semicolon, go to 10. That should be it. Let's see. Oops. He's made a mistake. I think there's a... I've got to end the char. Maybe. We'll see. Shift. Oh, not there. Whoops. And that one, that might be right. We'll see. All right, we'll come back to... Oh, wait. 205.5 plus. There's going to be a plus after random there. I must have just poorly typed it. Sorry, I'm not looking at the chat now that I've messed up with this, so bear with me. Plus. Okay, now that should work. Don't tell me there's something else. No, well, it does work. There we go. So that is 10 print, the tiny little code thing that draws a little maze on your screen, which is kind of cool. All right, where's the chat? Hello, everyone. So we've got, I'm not really doing a proper thing. I just thought I'd go through what I've been working on the Commodore 64 recently. So we've got Ethan, Nassim, Paul, Adam, Robert, David, Gary, hey Gary, TYP, Ian Scott Johnson, Paul Kirby. Hello, everyone. So this isn't going to be like a proper thing, but I thought I would show you what I'm doing at the moment. So there is the storage that I'm working. Is that going to focus? There we go. So I've got a couple of programs on there. Well, 4. So Tweet64 is the thing I originally worked on, and that was 7 years ago now, apparently. So 2013 was when I got this C64, it was basically when I first ventured into doing electronics. And I wanted to try and use well, first off, I wanted to play computer games on it, if I'm honest. I wanted to play games. So I've got some, actually. I can show you some. Don't think we'll load them up because they take forever. But I wanted to use the user port, and so I tried to learn how to do that in 2013. And someone a couple of weeks ago pointed out a mistake. Oh, we've got some more people joining. So you've got Mark, Bolly, David Esser, Paul, David, I don't know how to say your last name, and Zulu. Well, I was surprised that a mistake had been pointed out after 7 years. And I looked at it and it was actually a mistake. The schematic was wrong. So I went to try and recreate my project from that 2013 tutorial, and it didn't work. So over the last week, I've been recreating it, going through it again. So I've found out what was wrong, and so many other things. It's funny what 7 years does, because I just fell into so many little traps, it seems. And like, even in research, like I have forgotten most of what I did 7 years ago with this thing. Even looking at the code, it's a little bit mystifying. But there are just some basic research stuff that I did not do, but I've done this time. So we'll have a little look at the program that I originally wrote for this thing, which was called Tweet64. So pressing play on the tape there. It should load up shortly. What was the timings for that? Where did I put the tape? So it's on 0 now. 22. So not an age, just like a few minutes, really. There's Brian. Hey, Brian. Brian, are you doing a stream tonight? Someone said they're waiting on you to start. In fact, it was Adam that said that. Hey, Corgitronics is here as well. I think it just said it found Tweet64. I didn't see it. I was too busy looking at the chat. I hope it has. Anyway, it's got around to 10, so it should have done. Zulu asks, it was a program in BASIC. I hope you're talking to me. Don't know. But yeah, I don't know how to program in assembly language, so I'm just using BASIC because it's something I had a little bit of exposure to when I was younger. We had BASIC on Acorn machines, as I recall, and I think we did something with that at school. Oh, there we go. Oh, do you want to see the code first? Because I think it's going to mess with the color of the screen and the text. So we can just list. And if I hold, there's a button over here you can't quite see, but it's called control. And it means, in fact, if I just, there you go. You see it just there, called control. And if I press return over here, it'll start listing, but I can hold control to slow down the screen. Now this is code I wrote 7 years ago, stored on this little tape. And I mean, I'm not good at writing basic code, so none of this is optimized. You can see there's loads of spaces in there, so it takes longer to parse it. So it's not optimized at all. And I'm sure some of these statements could have been done in one line rather than doing them on two. Like you can see one there, it says print nothing. Don't know what that's all about. Anyway, let's let it run through and then I'll just run it. So this is Tweet64. I mean, okay, there's another one called Weather64, I think. So it's not like I was great at naming things. So let's see, press any key. It's probably because I couldn't figure out how to poke for a different value. So press F1 when you finish your tweet. So we just write a tweet. Oh, I'm pressing shift when I shouldn't be. It's funny, they're all capital letters on this, and when you press shift, that makes them lowercase. So it's easy to mess up. So this isn't going to tweet to anything because it's expecting something on the user port to be using RS232C, which is what the Commodore 64 had. Oh, F1 when you finish, not enter. F1. Here is your tweet. Hello, YouTube. Press F1 to send or F3 to cancel. So we'll press F1 to send, and it thinks it's sent it because there was, at the time, no way to confirm whether it had or not. The embedded hobbyist is here. Hello. Don't worry, everyone. This isn't going to be a long stream. That's why I didn't advertise it. I just thought what's the term? Get my sea legs back? Streaming legs back. That'll do. Anyway, so that was that program. So we load a different one. Okay, well, I'm going to do a separate video about all of the things that I did that were wrong in 2013. And there were a lot. There's a lot of things I did that never needed to be done. So I'll leave it there. Right, so we're on 22. So what's the next one? Weather 64. So this is the one that I've been working on very recently. And then there are two other programs on here after Weather 64. One called Circuit Ref, which is to do with an upcoming video, so I won't reveal that yet. And the other one is the RS232 example. Now I've written an example for myself so I don't forget how to do it, because when you work on this thing, you have to open a data pipe essentially. So you open up an avenue for data, and all that does is it puts aside some buffers and stuff and allows you to pipe data out of a certain way or pull data in from a certain way on the Commodore 64. I think it's all something to do with the CIA chip, I think. Let's load up Weather 64. So load. Oops. Oh, idiot. Come on. Load Weather 64. That's 3, 4. So yet another program I made in BASIC, but I did this really recently. So, God, I hope it doesn't look terrible still. I mean, it's not going to have got any better, is it? But can you both talk about all the different CR2032 holders? Oh, we've got basically, Brian has started some kind of a feud with me. Why has the screen gone black? Oh wait, because I set the background to black in Tweet 64, I hope. All seems to be working. So basically he's made a better battery eliminator. There we go. So it's found Weather 64. Press on the Commodore key to continue. I could have pressed any key really, but I like that it's got a Commodore key. It's kind of like having a Windows key though, isn't it? The Commodore key. Don't know if you can see the Commodore key. It's just there. I don't have the camera pointed that far down because then you can see my feet, which I find is a bit weird, isn't it? Maybe. But yeah, basically his battery eliminator is better than mine. I mean, honestly, mine is just... It's not... Where is it? Oh, there it is. Mine is literally just a bit of stuff. It's probably... This camera focus is better. Is it going to focus? No. Oh, well, the Commodore's found the thing now, so we don't have to worry. Let's not even talk about it anymore. Okay, so stop on the cassette, run. So this is, God, I feel like like an absolute idiot showing you these terrible programs on the Commodore 64. Like, you might remember games and stuff being on the Commodore 64, and they do look amazing. This is the first time I've ever used a sprite in a program. So there it is, Weather 64, and there's my sprite leaning. Oh, why is it repeating? I might not have finished coding this one. So should we just let's start. Oh, I don't want it to be purple. What is it? Poke 646, 1. There we go. So poke 646, 1 sets the text to white so that we can see it, which is kind of important right now. So let's have a look at the code here. Now, that's how you do the graphics. Can you see all those things? It's pretty mental. There should be a bit where it starts to repeat. Oh, there's my data. So that data there at the bottom is the sprite itself. Oh, it's all just quite confusing. We've got some new people in. Have I just spotted a couple of new names? What, David de Villiers? I'm not sure if that's how you say name. Sorry. You had a TRS 80, a Trash 80 is what they used to be called, as far as I remember. So I think we can probably go in here and change this already. So like list again. Let's find the bit where I've set it to repeat for some reason. What I should have been doing is having a wait function in there. Well, not function, a wait thing. So it waits on a register to change. So go to 15, it looks like, is not what I want. Go to 150. So let's list 150. What? Let's just clear that. Okay, so 150 starts the sprite going. So let's list 15. Oh, there's our bloody sprite again. It just popped on the screen. Let's see if we can just get rid of it with a Control Shift Clear Home. No. So that display is kind of an interesting thing about the Commodore 64. So the display itself, so where is it? There. So the display itself, that black area, has nothing to do with the sprite. That's drawn on a completely separate layer. So that's why it's still there. And I would have to delete the sprite, and I don't know the code for that. So it's just going to be on the screen. It's going to get redrawn every time I clear that screen. I can't even change it now. So let's list again. And we'll stop there. No, I wanted to go a little bit further, I think. You can list from a certain bit, but I can't remember the code. So if we're jumping back to 15, we don't really want to do that. We want to jump to... That's where I want to be. Line 300 says poke 198, wait 198. And that is waiting for a key press. So I think 15 should be where the key press is. So let's list that again. Somewhere around there, wasn't it? Yeah, so we want it to go to 300, I think. So 360 to 300, it looks like. So list 360. Yeah, that's it. And in BASIC, we can just literally go in and just change this line from 15 to 300. Now, that might have changed the behavior, I don't know. It has been a little while since I worked on this. So it shouldn't... Oh. No. No, that hasn't done it. Oh, there's Neffers, hey. When being naughty, better quality tapes were better when copying a full compilation with high-speed dubbing. Oh, right, fine. Fine, Neffers, that's fine. This is quite a high-quality cassette, though. Right. So we'll stop that because I don't really remember how to fix it. I'll have to go over the code bit by bit, but it shouldn't be repeating. What is 198? Hang on. I've got basically the Bible here. I mean, it's only the user manual. The programmer's reference is much better. Do I have it? No, see, I've got all of this old computing stuff that I dragged out of the loft. My loft is completely empty apart from the Commodore 64. So I've got the box for it right here. It was the Mindbender's Night Moves thing. I bought it for £47 off eBay in 2013. And I've got loads of other like old computing stuff. So I've got the manual. This came in the box, I think. And because I've got a Commodore PET as well, although technically I'm only looking after that, I've got like this book called The PET Revealed. I was hoping there'd be a basic manual in here, but there isn't, or a programmer's reference. I've got this. Do you know what paper tape is for computers? I'll show you. So this is the tape. This has nothing to do. I can't actually get it in. Are you going to focus? There we go. So, okay, maybe not. You can see these little holes running down the center here. That's for keeping track of where it is. And then all the other dots here. There's probably a leader here as well, but these will be some kind of code or something. I think this comes from I'm going to guess a Burroughs machine, because I think that's the company used to have one. And then everything else in here looks like floppy disks or something. Although I couldn't tell you what for, because I don't have... Oh my word, that's cool. Some of these have games on. I've never really looked at these, so because I don't have a drive to run them in, but I do have them. Anyway, I was looking for a manual I can't find, so that is unhelpful. What's this? Oh, that makes sense. So this is a manual, Introduction to Programming, and it says digital... Oh, can you read that? Focus, please. No? Well, it says PDP 8. So that paper tape could have been from a PDP 8, to be honest. Now, I'm not quite old enough to remember using any of these machines. I grew up with the BBC Micros and the VIC-20s and the Commodore 64s. So that stuff I've just got, which is old. But yeah, I'm not going to remember this exactly, so we're not going to do it. I didn't come on here for a little bit of a programming thing. Let's load up the next thing that I'm working on. Do you know what? I'll load up the circuit ref thing, why not? But I won't show you all of it because it would be a bit of a I can barely read that purple. It'll be a bit of a spoiler, unfortunately. So circuit ref is going to be part of this tutorial, so I've coded it. So Adam says, which book? I have loads of the C64 next to me. It's called The Programmer's Reference, I think. Let's see. C64 Programmer's Reference Guide. That's it. Let's have a look. Can I load that? Right, it's found circuit ref, so let's load that up. Can I just show my screen? Hang on. Oh, that's it. There you go. I don't know where this is. I did have it at one point, but it's gone. So that is basically the Bible if you're going to be mucking about in BASIC, or everything for the Commodore 64. It's got all of its registers in there, and loads of example code as well, which is brilliant. So that's what I'd love to find, but at the moment I can't find it. But this is really good still. So in here you've got like all the like ASCII codes and stuff, a screen memory map, which is great if you're going to do some like drawing on there. Deriving mathematical functions. It's safe to say that I haven't done that. Maths is not my strong point. It's got the pin out of all the stuff, so the user port, which is brilliant. And programs to try and type in and lose your mind. Look at that. You have to type all that in. It's not going to focus, is it? Does this one not autofocus? Maybe it doesn't. Maybe I've just not set it. But so that tiny text, you have to try and type all of that in. It says Boofy. I don't know what that is. Anyway, so this is a great little book, and I've got all my notes on there and stuff about the functions I wanted to learn and the various things that are in the ROM that's already in there. So it's basic version 2. Why is this still going? Oh, circuit ref is pretty big. I'd forgotten. It's like 8 screens or something like that. Sorry, I've not been reading the chat so much. Oh, you've got it, Adam. Yeah, it's a good one. I've got the PDF, but it's just quite nice to thumb through a book. But if you, have a look at that reference guide, and basically, there's nothing you can't do if you've got that. Honestly, you could do pretty much everything. There are other ones that you can get, but the Programming's Reference Guide is great. It's even got a schematic of the entire Commodore 64 in the back. It might be a pull-out or something, but... Oh, there we go. It has finished loading, so... Run. Ta-da! Look at that. So I wanted to design something for the tutorial. It's not really going to be a tutorial. It's more like, let's completely rip up that tutorial from 2013 and say where I did everything wrong. But so that's going to be it. The sprite's still on the screen, look. So this program doesn't clear the sprite memory, and I haven't reset the Commodore 64. And I don't really want to do that because it will lose the program then, and we won't be able to look at it. But so I'll just press... We'll just look at the next screen, and we're not going to go any further than that because then it's ruined, isn't it? So basically it's going to go through what I did before, and then we'll see where we went wrong. So there's a lot of code. This one's massive. Like it took a while, like a long while. I mean, if you're clever, you might be able to scrape this off the screen. But, yeah. So that's lots and lots of code there. Hey, there's the unexpected maker. Hello, Sion. Don't worry, I'm not doing a full programming thing. I'm going to turn the Commodore 64 on and off to remove the sprites that I haven't safely cleaned up. I'm going to have to look up how to do that. Oh, I forgot to press stop on the tape. And then the last one is the RS-232 example. So, right, let's get the thingy up. How do I... Sorry, thinking, why aren't you showing up? Tools, port, no COM port available. Now you should have one. No. Okay, let's close that down and start up again. What time did I start drinking, Sion, or just doing the stream? Like 30 minutes ago or something. It's not going to be a long stream. Hopefully I called it micro stream so that people would know that it was going to be really short. Well, we've got a problem here. This has not got a good connection to the computer because I can't find the port. So let's try it in the front USB. There's a load of USB stuff plugged in because we've got one camera, two cameras, the microphone, all sorts. There we go, it works now. And a lot of that's going through a little USB hub, so I don't think it can manage it. Might be a power delivery thing, I don't know. So we've got a serial monitor. I can't quite remember what this does. I was working on it earlier today. Right. COM5. Boom. Okay, let's bring that down here. I'm like feeling quite claustrophobic now with all this stuff. Right, so we're going to load RS232 example. Yes, I still do need to spell the words out when I type. That's how the professionals do it. Press play on tape. So I have got, while this is playing, because it's only a short one, it won't take long, but I have got some games. So if at any point anyone wants to do a request, not tonight, thank you. We're not going to do that. But so I've got these, which is the Night Moves game. So we've got Nightbreed. Oh, it looks like it's finished. Oh, it's found it. Sly Spy, not Spy versus Spy. Shadow Warriors, Midnight Resistance. I tried the Nightbreed. It was rubbish. I got killed immediately and couldn't figure out how to kill anyone because there are no instructions. So what else? I tried to find Ghostbusters, but I can't find it. I tried to buy it on eBay. That was my favourite game on the Commodore 64 when I was a kid. We've got this Multimix 1 leaderboard. Leaderboard tournament is a golf game, basically. So if you have a look at that, it might look familiar. Maybe. Well, there aren't any other screenshots. And then Mindbenders is the other one. So in here we've got Trivial Pursuit. I remember playing that when I was a kid. My mum was great at it and I was terrible, but it was, I think the game came out in like 1986 or something silly. Snare, whatever that is. Confusion and Split Personalities, which was a little puzzle game, and I remember playing that. Did it have cool music? I don't really know, but it had famous people. And I had like a joystick and stuff. A cheetah eliminator. Is that tape still going? It probably shouldn't be. Maybe we'll try and load that example again. Did it load? No. What was it? 1:15. We'll just do load and see what it finds. Maybe I spelt it wrong. Adam Bryant's got everything. It's okay. I was going to get one off the internet and just put it on my phone or something. I have one of these, but I haven't been able to successfully use it yet. It doesn't work on me for some reason, so I need to figure out some settings with like the sound volume. There we go, it's found it. So my tape player was really squeaky, so I took it apart and oiled it a bit. Load error? Why? What does that mean? It's not loaded. It might say load error, but it has worked. Okay, so are all the characters in the right place? Looks like it. So this is an example of using the RS232 port. So I'll go line by line on this actually. So line 10 opens the RS232 connection. It works like a file essentially. So it works the same way that you would do it on a printer or whatever. So open 1, we're calling it 1. So the file is 1. And then 2 is the connection through RS232. And 0 is I don't know. And then char 8 is setting our baud rate and parity bits and how many bits for the character we're sending. So it's an 8-bit thing. So I think this is what is 8 0 1 2 no 1 2 4 8. So this is 0 0 0 1 0 0 0, I think, is what I'm setting it as. And that essentially, according to, I think it might be in here, but it might actually be in the programmer's reference guide. No, it's in the programmer's reference guide, I'm sure of it. The on command open, there's open. No, it's in the programmer's reference guide, but essentially it's like a lookup thing. So if you put the right code in, then you get a certain setting. And so putting in a character of 8, we get a 1200 baud. Is it, you meant to say baud? B-A-U-D. I don't know how it's meant to be pronounced. Or bowed, which I like better, but I think it might meant to be bored. So that's what we're doing there. That first line opens everything up, sets up the channel essentially. And then line 20, get 1, comma A. So what it does is it's going to reach in that pipe. God, these analogies. And pull out a character. I'm going to do it one character at a time. Well, we don't have to. It can load in more than that, but it's a bit weird. And I don't really understand it. I've seen some examples and it makes it look super easy, but I can only really get 2 or 3 characters successfully at one time. So on the Arduino side, or whatever it will be, it might be an ESP or something, I'm going to be bod. It's pronounced bod. Oh, okay. Bod. Maybe I'll just say, what is it? Bits per second? Maybe I could just say that. Unless it is a specific thing. Okay, and so yeah, it's going to get a character at a time. We're only going to give it a character at a time so that we don't have to worry. We can still give it a lot of characters very, very quickly, but I don't know whether this has a large buffer or whether the simple code that I'm using is taking advantage of that buffer or not. Right, so then the next line says, if our character that we got, A, if it is less than or greater than the space symbol, so that's char 13, I think, which is also carriage return, then we're going to print our character, print to the open RS232 thing. We're going to print A. And then after we've done that, we're going to do it without putting a space, which is what that semicolon is, I think. And then we're going to go back to 20. And then line 35 and line 40 aren't being used. So there's that. So should we run it? Oh no, what? 30, undefined statement. That's not true. In 30. Then print 1A, go to 20. It doesn't need a space. What? Oh. What's happened to the code? Can you see where it now says 3283? That's a bit weird. Maybe there really was a load error. We're just going to turn that off and on again. Stop. We'll try and load it again. If not, I'll just type it in. It's not long. What was it? 115. Oh, it made a bit of a noise there. I don't know whether you can hear the tape player or not, but it the tape's a bit crunchy these days. It's squeaking away. Let's see if you can hear it. Can you hear that? Oh, there it is. Yeah, it didn't. It didn't like that. I think maybe it didn't. It just didn't load properly. Maybe we'll try it one more time. It's probably got some data though. Look. What's that? Okay. How is it loading that? Oh dear. Something's gone wrong, hasn't it? I mean, I'm now not touching it and the tape player's not going, so let's... Uh-oh. I mean, everything seems fine now. I really hope this doesn't break before I have to do a thing. You can only hear the keys. I guess this microphone's quite close to my face and not anything else. You can go over, everyone should go over to Beth Davies. Beth over there, back in the chat, is super cool. I've known her for many, many years. She is, in fact, my oldest friend. So say hi to Beth. You can all jump over to Brian's thing. He's probably doing something a little bit more important than me. And my Commodore 64 might break in a second. I'm going to try that one more time. But I'm bringing the tape player away from the power supply and the monitor and all that stuff in the hopes that it's something to do with that. And we'll see if it works. If not, this is going to be a very, very short stream. How are you holding up, Beth? You got much wine left? Oh, it's broken again. I'm just going to tell it to load. Let's see if it recorded it twice. I can't remember how I saved it, but you can save it in a defined way so that you get 2 copies and a verified copy, but not 2 copies. 1 copy is normal and one's a verified copy. Beth and I are not from Leicester. Not born and bred. Maybe bred there, I guess. DigiCool thing says, how are you capturing your C64 screen? I'll talk about that in another video. I can't take it apart at the moment because it'll all go off. Suffice to say though, if you remember, ages ago, I bought something to do just that, and that is this thing. But you'll notice it isn't connected because it doesn't work with the Commodore 64. Might work with other things, but for some reason it won't get the horizontal sync right. So let's do a run, stop, restore and load again. I was meant to be opening a bottle of wine, Beth, but I had one of these left in the fridge, so I went for this instead. It doesn't mean I won't still open the bottle of wine, but it just means I'm drinking this now. Right, found it. I'm just going to watch the tape drive and see if I can see the tape wobble. No, it's just broken. All right. Well, that looks fine now. Should we just try running it again? In fact, while it's in memory, just commit them all to memory. Oh, okay. Something's going wrong. All right. we'll type it out ourselves then. Does anyone remember what it was? I don't think I do exactly. So let's try open 1, 2, 0, CHR. Was it 8 or was it 6? I think it was 8. Delete that. So we're just gonna, I probably should have made that 10, shouldn't I? What? That shouldn't happen. I think there might be a bit of a RAM problem here. I've got to admit, I've not actually had it on for this long for a while. I mean, maybe I should unplug the Uno from it, maybe. I don't know. Stephen Ludgate is here. Hello, mate. It's like you're trying to open Google. Beth, you are far more tech savvy than that. Right, let's just list now, see if anything goes wrong. That looks fine. Oops, that's the wrong symbol. 20, get #1. Yeah. Okay. 30. If A is greater than or less than that, then I don't remember what comes next. Can anybody remember? There's no space. Oh, it's fine. It doesn't matter if there's a space. It'll just slow the program down. Just like there doesn't need to be a space after the comma on the first line. It won't do anything. Print hash. Ah, that's right. Then print and then it was that go to 20. There we go. Let's list it again. All the RAM's probably buggered, and we'll just run it. Okay, it's running. So now that means in our serial log, oh, we disconnected it. Don't trip out, computer, because I would like just to mess around with this. So in here, I should be able to type things and it will print them back to me from the Commodore 64. Please work. Here we go. Is everyone ready? 40 go to 20. What? No, I've put go to 20 at the end of 30. That should work. Hopefully. Here we go. So let's type one character. A. I don't think it's worked, has it? I can't send it. Maybe I should just close it down and open it up again. Let's check we're on the right COM port. Yeah? Is everything going? Ah, okay, so it's returned it back to me. Now I can demo it going wrong. I can't actually see that window, hang on. So can you see we've got these tiny, God, it's so small. There we go. Let's make it a little bit bigger. So you can see we get some garbage characters back, and I think it's because it fills up that buffer, but I can put 3 characters in and it will get those just fine. But if I put 4, well, not specifically the numbers 4, but A, B, C, D, it ruins it. So I don't know whether there's some kind of a buffer there that I'm not abiding by, but it certainly isn't working. So I'm just going to shorten this screen a bit so you can see it. So we see nothing on the Commodore 64 at the moment. So let's change that. So we can do didn't mean to do that. Oh, hang on a minute. Oh, why is it doing that? Oh yeah, of course. So when this is printing out a empty character, which is why it's filling up the stream like that. So let's just jump up and then pop that in there, and then it won't do that, I think. Yeah, sounds really convincing. And it hasn't. So there we go. Let's try that. I mean, I'm not even looking at the chat at the moment because I've got this thingy open. Right, let's try A, B, C. Where am I typing that? A, B, C in capitals. And then the Commodore 64. That's so, I'm so pleased. I'm so pleased that worked. So yeah, I get ABC, but ideally I'd like to be able to write A, B, C, D. Let's not do the alphabet, the whole thing. In fact, I can just copy and paste it. So the code that I want to copy in for my weather thing is all of this. All of that text there, it's not going to make it. Look how much I got. I got to the 3 character limit. You can see it says question mark. It actually got a 0, so I actually got more than I needed, but it only got a very small amount of characters. So ideally, I'd like to go for, I don't know, maybe 2 characters at a time and load it into my own buffer so that I capture those characters, add it to a string or whatever kind of variables this thing, the Commodore 64 uses, and then let it pick from that. Now, if I jump to a different application for a second, can we just do that? I think so. Boop, 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 boop. So this is, I don't know, is it called Commodore Program Studio or something? So you can write your programs in here. Now, until I get my tape thing to work, I'm copying them from here to the Commodore by hand. But, you know, sometimes they get a bit out of hand. So, like, that's crazy. So you have to type in the screen stuff. But eventually, I won't have to do that. And the tape cassette thing will work. But they're not long programs, so it only takes like, I don't know, maybe half an hour, a little bit longer to type it all out. But I can run this in, if it will load up, Vice, which is an emulation program. And so this now translates that string into the values you see on screen. And so I've done the coding for that in here because it's super difficult to do it on the Commodore 64 because it's not very easy. So I've done that all in here, and then I'll translate it over. So what's recorded on that tape isn't the most recent stuff that I've done. It's just easier to to write it up in the Commodore programming thing. It has a little bit of debugging in there, sort of. It tells you when you've gone wrong with an open bracket and stuff. So that's useful. Right, I think that's probably it. It's almost an hour. But I will submit to questioning. No, if anyone's got any questions, feel free to ask. I was going to do some troubleshooting on this, on the character thing, but I'm a little bit worried about the flaky behavior I've just seen with the Commodore freaking out. So I would like to sort of look that up and find out why that might be happening. It could easily be that, you know, loading programs in from cassette where you've probably recorded it over before might have weird consequences. I don't know, but when the border's changed, that only happens when there's a poke that's happened. So basically prodding a register address. So if that's going weird, then there's a bit of a problem. Maybe the power supply is a bit flaky. It is the original power supply. They are truly terrible. They're hot, like hot to the touch. Or it could be the fact that I've got an Uno with a bunch of wires stuffed in the back. But that's what the user port was for. So the original user port was so that you could connect peripheral devices that you made. This thing was like perfect for hobbyists. So people can connect LEDs to it, all sorts. So it was a homebrew paradise, basically. Well, not particularly this model. This was a later model, a bit more cheaply built, the C64C or E, whatever it's called. The sort of original bread bin ones were the better ones. Dirk said basics a bit too slow the way you're doing it. It should be able to cope with a few more characters. I mean, I can lower the baud rate, whatever anyone decided it was there, to like 300, but I'm fine just throwing in 2 characters at a time. In fact, I can show you on the com thing. It's going to be quite loud for you because I'm going to be bashing the keyboard, but I can't send 4 characters through. I can send 3 almost reliably. 2. Okay, I can send 2 quite reliably, but what happens if I send them super quick? Oh, hang on. So I can send a lot of characters, tapping away on that keyboard. That's about as fast as I can do it. I only need to send like a string of 40 characters. So I think I can do it in a fast enough time. Fast enough. Losing my accent. Fast enough time. So I don't think it's a problem. I mean, I can use SPI or something and like bit bang it or something. I don't know. But we could do something like that. But for now, RX and TX is okay. And it's sort of what I want to prove as well, because it's the thing I did 7 years ago. I mean, it worked 7 years ago, so it wasn't entirely wrong, but I could have done it better. There was basically, I'm not going to tell you all of the thing, but there was a huge thing that I completely missed. Chris is here. Hello, Chris. I found my C64 yesterday while going through the box in the garage. It's significantly more orange than mine. Is yours a C64C? This one has been in the loft for, I mean, maybe 5 years. I think I got it out when I moved into this place, and then I put it promptly in the loft and it stayed there. I've tried to clean it, but it was, so if you look at the video from 2013, it is much less yellow than this. So you can see the keys are just totally weird color, but in between the keys it's not. But there's nothing on these keys, and there's no reason to have them got sort of colored because it's been sealed in its polystyrene box and then inside of the other box and then inside some bubble wrap and in a loft. So yeah, I don't know whether it's the environment or whatever, but nothing I've done. It's not been exposed to sunlight either. So hard to get blank unused tapes. Actually, I find it quite easy around here. There's quite a few little odd hardware shops that still have blank cassettes. There's one near me. And I cleaned the tape head only with isopropyl alcohol, so I don't know if that's good enough, but hopefully. I had to take the cassette apart and oil all the bits up as well because it was squeaking. Trinidad said equivalent to all PC parallel ports. Well, you can use parallel. It has got the I/O. You can do it. This chat's jumping around something awful. Let me try and make it not do that. Digicool Things says he's going to go and find his old C64 Maker project from the early 80s and do some rediscovery. I honestly, when I looked this up and decided I was going to do it again, so I watched the old videos. That was a chore because they're not great. So, hang on a minute. David's stream is better than Brian's. Don't say that. Sorry, I'm just reading some other stuff. Yeah, watching the old videos was rubbish. Don't do it. But if you want to go and see how much younger I looked 7 years ago, then do. A lot younger. Don't really think I've changed my hair, although lockdown haircut is slightly different, especially since I cut it myself. So Dirk says the buffer size of the 6551 is 3. So that makes sense that I can only send 3 characters reliably, and then it stops, but you can save it to a buffer if it's the print that takes so much time. Well, that's cool. I'm fine just doing it one at a time because I need to give it an ending character anyway. So my ending character is a star. So if I paste that text in again into the little com thing. So right at the end, God, it's really hard to see there, isn't it? The resolution of this thing because I've not increased the font size. I wonder if I can do that now. Preferences. No, it doesn't change in the input. Never mind. So the font size, sorry. The ending character is a star, so I'm going to be looking out for that. So if I do it one at a time, then that's fine. I can do it pretty quickly one at a time too. David's got a few sealed cassettes lying around. What do you need them for, David? Is it just because you like to have them? Because I think that's why I've got the that's why I've got this paper tape stuff, because I like to have it, not because I've got anything that can read it. Not even I can read that. And that's why I've got all those old 5 1/4 inch discs and floppy disks, and why I've got this massive old magnetic tape, or the magnetic core memory thing that I've got downstairs. Paul says, did I clean the wheel too? Yes, I did clean the wheel because it started eating the tape, so I had to. It had gotten a bit sticky, so I cleaned it with isopropyl alcohol and let it dry off for a while. And it stopped. It's still quite grippy, but it isn't sticky, so heaven knows what got on it. Chris says, I'm probably far behind. Here you go. As you can see, my PSU gets too hot. Oh my word. I'm going to share that on the screen if you don't mind. So what do I get rid of? That, and that. Look at that. It does get too hot. Is mine the same as yours? Yeah, not quite as yellow as your one. God, your keyboard's super yellow. How did that happen? Yeah, it's been dropped as well a bit, hasn't it? Unless it just gets real brittle with age. Wow. That's crazy. Yeah, I don't think mine gets quite that hot, but I don't tend to run it for long periods of time. Let's see how hot it is now. Yeah, it's fairly warm. I think if I was going to be running it properly, I might make my own power supply. I think it probably only needs 12 and 5 volts, doesn't it? So it might be easy just to get a PC supply and mod up a cable, or there might even be ones that you could buy as a replacement power supply. I'm not sure, but it would be probably worthwhile if I was going to play about with it much. But really, I just want to achieve this one thing, and then I'm sort of done. Digital Thing says, next project, Arduino paper tape reader. I did consider it using some like what are they called? Are they photodiodes? Photo resistor? What are they called? Anyway, I considered using it either with sort of infrared diodes and the receivers, and then shining light through the holes using like a 3D printed jig or something. But at the same time, I wouldn't know how to process the data either. And wouldn't it be awful if I like broke some of the tape? But it is a cool idea. So it was in the shed for many years, apparently. Yeah, that was seriously yellow though, wasn't it? Rob Jennings says, get an SD to IEC SD card drive emulator. I could do, yeah. But they're a little bit expensive, and I just hoped this thing for £1.29 with the little 3.5mm jack. These used to be, so right. So you get this tape, right, and it's a CD car adapter thing. So people didn't used to have CD players in their car. You just used to have tape players. And so if you wanted to plug your portable CD player in, I had a mate who would go around with it might have been Beth actually, who'd go around with an actual CD mini hi-fi player in her car, and then just 3.5mm jack it to this thing. So that's what those were for. So it's super cheap. So I'm going to give it a go. I just need to work on the settings a bit. But I would love to get one. You can also make your own tape emulator with just like a little AT Mega 328. So that's also a possibility. And then you just plug that into the tape port. But do you know what? I do have the little blue port thing for the tape drive. I could do that maybe. Ethan says, wow, wooden keys. I think we're probably still talking about Chris's computer there. Cheetah Kid says, the 8-bit guy has some cleaning tips. Yeah, I do watch the 8-bit guy. I like it when he looks at really old, obscure stuff. I enjoy that. They do a lot of the retro brighting, which is all to do with UV light. And now we're coming into nicer weather. We might even get some of that UV light. So maybe. Yeah, I'm going to say Mako. I've never really said your name. In fact, I have, and I always call you Masio, but that doesn't sound right now. And I'm fairly sure Sion pronounced it correctly, and you congratulated him, and now I don't remember how to say it. So, Mako. I don't know. Yeah, the chips start to get really hot. There's a guy called Adrian Black who I really like. He's got a super nice personality. So Adrian Black's Digital Basement, it's called. And he's got a great voice. It's super soothing. He just sits there and repairs computers. And I'm like, this is great. I love it. And he puts those little heat sinks on all of his machines. And he particularly likes the Commodore 64s. Simple electronics. Oh yeah, LDRs, that's it. Light dependent resistors. Oh no, what have I scrolled past everything? Oh, there we go. Sorry, you guys are chatting too quickly for me. I wonder if I can pop that out and then expand it a bit. That's better. I can scroll up properly. The paper tape is probably CPM. It could be. I don't know. What's this? It would have come from wherever this came from, which was Introduction to Programming, PDP-8 Handbook. So what languages did they use? Well, it would have, that would just 8-bit binary going in, wouldn't it? I guess. Fortran. Could have been Fortran. So they've got 8K basic, Focal 8, Fortran, assembler. Oh, this book is falling to pieces. This book is from 1972. Introduction to Floating Point Math. Input deck tape programming. Page 7. It's not going to have a picture. Oh, it might do. What is this? This might actually be it. Yeah, that looks like it. So that actually could be the tape. Maybe. Yeah, could be that. I don't know. That book's so old it's going to be very difficult to read, but one day, one day I'll have a look. Where am I at? I've lost everyone. Oh no, there I am. Right. I had a small illegal FM transmitter to play music in my car's radio. Loads of people had those. I've still got some small little illegal FM transmitters here, and I put one together for a kit. I don't run it though, mind. The last is good, David. So, Mako? Going for Mako. Did you call things? My C64 is a bread bin, so it's dark brown. That really doesn't show together much. Yeah, my first one, C64, we had a VIC-20 when I was a kid, so we didn't have a lot of cash when I was a kid, so we got stuff lots later on. So like from car boot sales and stuff, which is like a yard sale, I guess, if you're American. Don't know what it would be called elsewhere. Secondhand, basically. So we got a VIC-20, which is sort of a white box with brown keys. Or at least it had brown, as I recall, sort of cream keys and then brown F keys. And then the bread bin was a brown box with cream keys and brown F keys, I think. So that was the first computer we ever had, with the VIC-20. We used to do all sorts on it. There was a game called Wheeling Wally, which was like my favourite. I loved that. Embedded Hobbyist said our PDP-11 had a disk drive the size of a large washing machine. That's cool. Ismail says, is that an Atari? This one, this is a Commodore 64. You can't see the label because it's down there. And Wiki says it could be a 7-bit ASCII tape. It could be. I wonder if there's anything written on it. On the back side, or... No, it is a full program though on this thing. Because you can see we've got the lead in before you start getting to data. So This is somebody's full program. This whole thing. Heaven knows. There's a hair in there though, which is nice, so lovely. I got the paper tape and some other old computing bits like that core memory, which I did a video about ages ago, but it's just such a cool thing. It's magnetic core memory is physically stored on these little ferrite cores, and it's write once, read once, and then it's destroyed. Reading the data destroys it. So it would have to be copied to something else and then rewritten and stuff. So yeah, weird stuff, but used all over the place in loads and loads of machines. But a place was trying to get rid of everything. They had to get rid of stuff, and so I just said, I'll find somewhere. And definitely it's amazing to have some core memory and all that other stuff. Flea market in the USA, Chris says. I don't know if the chat's really slow for me. I can't really see where that came in. Digicool Thing says how many holes across the paper tape? Deduct one for parity, and then 1, 2. I can't tell because they're not all filled in. So 3 plus 5. 3 and 5, so that's 8. So it's 7-bit, is it? So incidentally, this the Commodore can do 7-bit ASCII on its RS-232. So CR/LF as 7-bit ASCII. So it's carriage return and what? What's the LF? Or is it not carriage return? It would be nice to see what's on the paper tape, I've got to admit, but it's not like it's really going to come out in characters. It's going to be just binary, isn't it? Would be interesting to see if you could decode some characters though. Line feed. So it's carriage return and line feed. God, those are typewriter sayings, aren't they, that bled into computing. Yeah, you're right. I could capture it. All right, have a think. Someone's probably already done this before to like save some paper tape, but it'd be nice to look it up. So even if I only do a small section and see if we can turn it into characters, I would imagine that someone would have coded the program's name or their name into it, would they? So it's printed out along with the program rather than just an anonymous bit of numbers or whatever. I would have thought it would have something. Who knows? Yeah, it could have been Fortran, or it could have been, what were the other ones that they would have been using according to this, or potentially using? I think it would probably be Fortran. It was popular. So Fortran Focal 8, whatever that is. Its computing language is 8K Fortran. And the machine language assembler is 4K assembler or 8K assembler. That is it. OS 8. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, Mako, you can be a mod. There you go. That's a good idea, Ismail. There might be an app. You never know. Yeah, it could be possible. Right, we've been going for more than an hour now, and I sort of didn't want to do more than an hour because Commodore 64 is going to get hot. And I sort of wanted to do some actual programming this evening, so you can't really do that on stream. Or at least I'm not very good at doing it. We can just muck around with stuff. Oh, don't. There might not be an upcoming crap paper tape reader. I don't know if that's even possible. We'll see. I've got other stuff to do yet. So there's a project I'm working with Blitz City DIY, Liz from Blitz City DIY. Working with her on a project, but you know, it's difficult to get those things sorted. So we may end up doing it in like an episodic thing that I did with Unexpected Maker, or we might not, but it's musical in nature. I'm not musical, but I do have a couple of things which make it seem like I am. Actually, I've got a few things. So I've got a drum, I've got this, which is a beater for a percussion thing, like a xylophone or the wooden one. And I've got this thing, which has got a bit of wire stuck to it, which is a kazoo, which I intend on using for this project. Chris says, I want HAL. HAL is still in the works. The one thing I need to test first, and that is I've probably got... Where is it? I'll show you. Not there. Need that? No. Okay, I can't see it, and I've moved things around. You over there? No. Basically, I bought some touch control ICs, and I want to try those out because I've currently designed HAL with the touch control on the 8085, and I don't want that to be the case anymore. So I'd like to free up HAL's other pin to control the LED. So it's got TXRX, the LED, and one signal from the touch controller, whereas I think I'd need two for the touch controller. So got to figure that out before I send the board off. And plus, I don't really want to send the board off during lockdown because, you know, delivery to work is so much easier because someone's always there. But if I'm not at home when they come because I've gone out for exercise or whatever, it'll be annoying. So I'm doing that, but there's loads of other stuff that I'm doing at the same time, trying to finish. Remember that clock from ages ago? The one that I did with C on, the filament clock. Kind of never done that. Well, I haven't. It's sitting up there, right? And it's not finished. So it worked. I just never glued it together and did the programming so that it kept the time. It just displayed numbers and letters. So I really should finish that off. I did do this thing over here, though. Oh, wait, there's stuff in the way. Can I move that? Whoop. I'm going to move Commodore over there. So I put all these things up. And I've got some vintage stuff, actually, like this thing, which is an old watt meter. I kind of wanted to show you guys. The other one, oh God, the other thing, I'm going to get it so you can see. God, it's covered in dust. Oh, it's this thing. I love my vintage stuff. Mr. Bass Test. Chill the hell out. Put user in a timeout. Thank you, Chris. You already got there. They just wait for you to leave the room, don't they? This thing. It's quite heavy. Oh, that's got no features on that side. What do you think it is? Probably says no, it doesn't, but it does say something on the screen. Where's the little camera? We'll bring you out over here, and then I'll show it to the little camera. It's quite heavy. So oh, Rob, that's a great joke. I love it. Do you know what? I feel like it should, but I think that might be wasteful. If I did make it say 1 watt when I was in the room. Well, it should say a minimum of 2, shouldn't it? So that we can get the full surname in. But no, it doesn't. That one is it's a bit highly rated, so there's only one setting on there I can even make it work. I'm going to show you this. In fact, should we just... I mean, you're going to end up seeing my socks or something, so sorry. How do I make this not so annoying? Like that, probably. So, can you all see this? Hopefully. It's really tiny, isn't it? Shall I? There we go. So this has a latch thing there. Try and turn it around so you can maybe read the stuff on it. You gonna say? Yeah, maybe. And a little door. You'll probably be able to tell what it is. Why is that upside down? It's really not. Oh, it's so difficult to get. Oh, there we go. Probably just about make that out. This is a micro ohms meter, which is crazy when you think about it, because the age this thing must be. Cam 2? There we go. So this thing is ginormous, probably really, really old. No idea, really. It's called the Ductor Low Resistance Testing Set. I don't have the testing leads, so we're not going to be able to test it because the testing leads look, they call them hand spikes as well. So this is the testing with hand spikes, and that's the duplex hand spikes. So these are meant to go into basically really massively thick cables or wires. So we're talking high powered stuff. And well, I have no way of using this thing. So the Ductor Low Resistance Testing Kit. I tried to find a date in here and I can't find one. So if anybody knows or has ever heard of Ductor, then I would love to know. Also, if it's super rare, maybe I can give it to a museum or something, because it's just freaking heavy and I can't do anything with it and it doesn't look particularly interesting on the shelf. And the other one has got stuff on it, so I'm not going to bring it down. Anyway, I think we were going to be done, weren't we? DigiCool said low resistance testing kit, and so did Adam. I don't know whether they saw the micro ohms thing first or not, or whether they just guessed because of the big old resistor thing on the side of it, or resistance bit. Oh, not there. There is what I guess that is. Or it's a heatsink. I don't know for certain. Well, I don't know in any way. It's just a massive guess, actually. It could well have been for testing phone lines or power lines, because it did come from a power lab, so high-powered power lab. So it might have been for doing that, but I don't know. The person gave it to me because they said maybe you can use it in one of your projects, make it into something. I mean, the wooden box alone is amazing, right? I love stuff like that, like this thing. They said I could change it and make it do something else, but it's a watt display. You know, it's not going to deflect the needle for, you know, a couple of volts from an Arduino. I'm going to need some actual watts going through. If you look here, the range is, you can't see that. I say look here. I can't get you any closer. Yeah, I probably can actually. I lie sometimes. I just lie. Come on, let me have a bit more of that. Any more? A little bit more. Oh, that's as close as you're getting. I don't know if you can see it, but 20 volts, 40 volts and 60 volts is the range. So we've got 2.5 amps, 5 amps and 10 amps, and you have to put these metal bars in a weird order. One for another day. I can test the 40 volts. Why are you over there? Sorry. There we go. I can test the 20 volts, but I can't test, well, maybe I can, 40 and 60, but I don't have a power supply that's going to do that for me. Don says you should probably check that all that weight isn't glass lead acids. Oh no, the battery isn't there. So I don't know if that's what you mean. So there was no battery included. The battery is going to be separate to that device. Is that a pet model? Matteo says. Yeah, it is. I wonder if I can... Oh, it's plugged in. I can plug in. Shit. Oh, great. That was good. Yeah, it's a little Commodore pet that I knocked up. So it's based off someone else's... Is it, or did I just do it myself? I think this part here, the very front section there, is remixed from someone else's model on Thingiverse. And then I cut out the inside so I could shove in some electronics. And then I made a tape player to go with it. And that has the buttons. So it does have a little Commodore display on it. Shows the memory remaining and a little flashing cursor. But that's old stuff these days. Yeah, I mean, I've got an old pet in that cupboard over there. It's a Commodore PET 2001N. So it's got the blue label on and stuff. And a little chiclet keyboard that's horrible. Right, I'm turning off the Commodore now. Because it's getting warm. And we're going to finish this stream in a second. I need to unplug its power supply as well. It's one of those things where the power supply is always on, even though the Commodore is off. Which is incredibly bad for the power supply to be that hot all the time. There we go. Ethan says, don't you have a video about that? That little Commodore thing? Yeah, years ago. Don't even remember how long ago now. Probably 4 years ago. Hey, Paul. A 4016. What does that look like? Is it working? Oh, yeah, that's the one I'd rather have, if I'm honest. I know the 2001 is like kind of sought after. People want it because it looks cool. But the 4016 or the 4096, depending on how much memory you've got in it, I think. But they just look much more serviceable. Like the keyboard looks nicer. It doesn't have that built-in tape player that goes wrong, and it's got a separate keypad. So I'll show you what we're talking about here, actually. I mean, I shouldn't be doing this chat anymore. What's that? There we go. So this is the 4016, right? That one there. And can I see the one I've got? I have to type it in. And that is the one that I've got. Look at it. It looks ridiculous. This one looks much nicer. Well, that's a 2001 N Series 2, but the business professional computer instead. So yeah, I think I'd rather have the one with a proper keyboard so you could use it, because that chiclet keyboard is not usable at all. Doctor is mentioned as far back as 1928. I mean, the lab that I got it from, or the workshop, they had loads of old gear, so they just didn't throw anything away, because I guess it still works, doesn't it? Potentially. Anyway, so I don't know how old it is. No, I didn't mean the 4016 CMOS. I meant the computer. Get some wine, David. No, I'm not hanging around. This is going to... I've almost had a beer, so it's been going on a while. An hour and 30. Mine's not even connected. In fact, I'll see if I can just get it. There's so much junk in the way here. Oh. Come out. See, it's not even connected because I took it out to clean. Look at those keys. Right, autofocus. It does work. So this is the chiclet keyboard. It was horrible to use. How are you not focusing on that? Oh well. Yeah, not great. They're kind of like sticky, not to the touch, but pressing them. I've had it apart and cleaned it twice, and still nothing. I even put re-put contact stuff on it, so just not great. So I've been trying to repair that Commodore 2001 for, wow, years. I only really seriously tried for about a year, and then it just went in the cupboard because it never really worked out properly. So I got it to work, but the keyboard was never very good. The tape player doesn't work, and the RAM expansion board, or at least that's what I think it is, doesn't work. There was some documentation with the machine that said it had an expanded ROM as well, so it had some special functions you could type in to use. kind of like an extended basic or something. But the board doesn't work. It has an interconnect that goes from the top board to the bottom board, but it doesn't work. Embedded Hobby has said, that's sad, get it clean and get it back in the pet. Well, it was just in the pet, just not screwed into the front of the case. But yeah, I think it's just a bit far gone. So I don't know if it will. I don't know if I'm capable of making it work. So I may just try and find a home for it. Mako. All right. I'm going to find out what it is. Miko. Okay. Like Michael a little bit. Miko. I'll try and remember that. I might not remember that. I suppose they were good quality calculator keys back then. Yeah, they were. Right, kids, it's 10 o'clock. I'm going to end the stream now. So, thank you very much for joining me. It's just been a whole mess of nothing, hasn't it? I hope you've enjoyed it anyway. We've not done much, we've not achieved a lot, but it's been nice to hang out, and it was fun to play with the Commodore and get a bit of a scare when it started going weird, but it could have been anything really. I've never taken this machine apart, so I don't know what it's like on the inside, so maybe that's a good thing to do. Have a little look, see if some chips need reseating, or maybe there's some horrible corrosion, who knows. What do I do now? Like, how do I stop this stream? I just clicked go live. Go to the live control room. Oh, maybe I should have done that. Hang on a second. We might have to hang around for a little bit longer. No, I don't know what that is. That's the wrong thing. There's no button. All right, screw it. I'm just going to stop streaming on OBS. All right, kids. See you all again soon. Well, the next video will be something about the Commodore 64, as I'm sure you know. All right, peace out.